Entitled Dad tries to demand I let his daughter play on my Switch, by user general_locksmith512. I, 23M, had a doctor's appointment earlier today and I took my Switch because I knew I'd be waiting for a while. So I was sitting in the waiting room and after a while a dad with a little girl, probably 5/6 YRS old, walk in and sit on a couch across the room. A few minutes pass and the little girl gets up and sits on the armchair next to the one I'm sitting, and starts leaning over to watch my game. I was fine with that because she wasn't doing anything at first, she was just watching, though I thought it was kinda weird that the DOS didn't do anything and just let his daughter sit next to a random guy. Anyway, I didn't do anything, I just kept playing and let her watch. But then she reached out and tried to grab my Switch, so I pulled away and looked at the dad and he was just watching like nothing happened. I'm pretty shy, so interacting with people in awkward scenarios like that is a challenge, but I called him and said, "Hey, your daughter just tried to grab my game, can you ask her to not do that please?" And his response was just, "Let her play, what's the problem? I let my GF's brother play with my stuff all the time, but I don't know this kid, and given her attitude I couldn't trust that she wouldn't break it or something like that. So I said no, she can watch but not play." And bro got mad and said something in the lines of I should let her play because she's bored and I'm a grown man and she's a little kid, so I should let her have it. I just said no again and moved to a different seat and kept ignoring them until the doctor called me in. Brew. I thought people like this were internet skits. Girl Scout mom tries setting up sale table at gym I worked for, by user goddessofviking86. A few years back at old gym I worked for, one woman I was training tried asking me could her Girl Scout troop be able to sell cookies at a table she could set up. I told her it's up to my boss, and in my opinion a gym isn't an ideal place to sell cookies because people are there to work out, not buy cookies, especially if they're trying to watch their weight and sweets intake. The woman asked my boss who is her cousin and my boss politely declined. The following week she sets up a table and has her daughter and 2 scouts as well, another adult, asking people if they want to buy cookies. One of my co-workers got my boss's attention and my boss went to talk to his cousin. The two got into the biggest argument and the woman shouted she's entitled to because family helps family. My boss comes back inside and on their way to his office he gets approached by a woman patron who says she knows the troop council and she'd give her a call. Before long a representative arrives and asks the people to leave. The gym was not an approved location for selling cookies. The woman tried saying, "The owner of the gym is my cousin, he said it was okay." My boss, who is outside hearing this, tells his cousin, "Again, I didn't give permission to the troop council." The troop representative again tells her pack up and go to where they were assigned or risk being kicked out of the scouts. The woman leaves in a grunge rage and says, "So much for counting on family." Update: I forgot to say they didn't sell a single box of cookies. All the gym patrons all said no thanks on their own because they were more focused on maintaining their fitness routines over sugary treats. Entitled Parents showed up at my mom's friend's house in a cop car over a middle school drama, by user.superb8026. Hey Reddit, I just heard this story and it honestly left me a little astonished. I never knew kids/teens could behave in such an absurd way. No advice needed, just a bit of light drama to share. Background: my sister, F13, used to be really close friends with a pair of twins in her grade. We'll call them Janet and Gina. They were both notoriously hyperactive kids, and the three of them clicked right away. Their friendship started back in 3rd grade, and over time, even my mom and the twins' mom became best friends. The irony? By the time they reached 7th grade, the school reshuffled classes. My sister and the twins ended up in different sections, which split up their group. They still kept in touch, but naturally drifted into separate circles. So now, while the moms are still super close, my sister and the twins are more like casual old friends. Before diving into the actual drama, here's one thing you should know: the twins have a strong gossiping/teasing streak, and during arguments, they can get pretty aggressive with words, especially when they know they're 100% right. The drama begins. Janet is part of Scouts and Guides, and last Saturday she went on a camp with about 15 other teens, ages 12-15. During a break, Janet was goofing around hopping on the ground in just her socks with a couple of other kids when a senior, Swati, 10th grade, told her to sit down. In the middle of the chaos, Janet accidentally stepped on the shawl of another girl from her class, let's call her PJ. Janet says she immediately apologized, but PJ snapped back with, "You people wouldn't know what manners are, you live in such an awful place." Now, if this was the 1980s, maybe that area wasn't the best, but today it's actually full of well-educated, well-off families. They just show off their wealth differently, lots of gold and property instead of flashy luxuries. Naturally, Janet was offended and argued, "Just because you're rich, you can't look down on us." Swati, the senior, made both of them apologize, and it seemed like things ended there. But of course, it didn't. At lunchtime, the kids from my sister's school realized nobody had been told to bring a plate. The teacher asked a helper to go buy some, and Janet, being hungry, asked another girl nearby if the person standing a little distance away was the one sent to get plates. Before anyone could answer, PJ butted in, saying, "That's my bodyguard." Confused, Janet asked, "Wait, your dad's a police officer, so he has guards, but why do you personally need a bodyguard?" It was a genuine question, she was just clueless. But PJ completely lost it. She started yelling, "How dare you talk about my dad like that?" She ran to the teacher, twisted the story, and made a huge scene. Even when other students tried to explain, the teacher silenced everyone and took PJ's side. The story definitely doesn't end there. On Monday, PJ's mom showed up at school and filed a complaint, claiming that Janet and her gang were constantly bullying PJ. She said that's why PJ couldn't focus on her studies or build genuine relationships. But she didn't stop there, she actually saw Janet in school and started yelling at her. Janet, being Janet, tried to defend herself respectfully without being rude, but after being cornered for so long by an adult and then even being shut down by her own teacher for talking back, she completely broke down. She ended up having an anxiety attack and a fever, and honestly, in my country, people don't take that seriously, awareness is still a long way off. As if that wasn't enough, PJ's mom later called Janet's mom. She questioned her upbringing, mocked the area she grew up in, and even threatened that she wouldn't rest until scumbags like Janet and Gina were expelled from school. Janet's mom was shocked and confused. To make it worse, she got a call from the school saying Janet was unwell and needed to be picked up early. When she met with the staff, she felt they were biased. So the next day, she marched into the principal's office and laid out everything: the fights, the insults, PJ's mom's behavior. The principal reassured her, "Don't worry. No one is getting expelled on my watch. I'll handle this after Teacher's Day." Relieved, Janet's mom agreed to wait. But PJ's mom wasn't done. She started calling other parents, bad-mouthing the twins, and telling them to keep their kids away from Janet and Gina. Around 5 parents actually reached out to Janet's mom, confused about why PJ's mom was acting like this over a kid's fight. Even then, PJ's mom kept escalating. She went back to school, met with the class teacher, and once again painted the twins as evil. Just to get rid of her, the teacher claimed that she told another student not to talk to the twins only as a way to blow PJ's mom off. But that move backfired, because PJ later cornered Gina and mocked her, asking if Janet was absent because she was too scared to face her. Gina stayed quiet, went home, and told her mom. The next day, Gina's mom confronted the class teacher, who admitted she'd been wrong and said PJ's mom was pushing all limits for something so trivial. Once Janet was back at school, the teacher sat all 3 girls down and tried to resolve things. That was Monday through Thursday. But then today, something absurd happened. PJ, along with her mom and dad, actually tracked down Janet's house and showed up in a police car. They didn't even ask permission, they just walked in and sat on the couch. They claimed the school wasn't taking action, so they came to set things straight. Janet's mom asked why they were at her home when the matter was supposed to be handled by the principal. PJ's father, a cop, snapped back, saying she didn't even welcome them with a smile, and added that since the school wasn't acting, Janet's mom should keep things under control in her own house. Then PJ's mom jumped in, bragging about their wealth and asking how people like Janet's family could even compare to them. Janet's mom had enough, she yelled back, saying they had no right to insult her community. The response? PJ's parents accused the twins of ruining PJ's school life and claimed Janet and her 6 friends had given PJ a mean nickname, which basically meant boastful in our language. That name had later spread and become what the whole class called her. Janet's mom asked why only her daughter was being singled out when it was clearly a group thing. They had no answer, and just circled back to the same accusations. At that point, Janet's mom realized this wouldn't stop. She called her husband, who then reached out to a friend, a fellow parent who happened to be a pa to a minister. Meanwhile, since the class teacher wasn't answering her phone, Janet's mom called the PE teacher, who alerted the principal. While this was happening, the twins tried to defend their mom and questioned PJ's behavior. PJ's mom snapped back, "My daughter would never do such things, stop spinning lies." Maybe this area taught you to lie, but at least your mom should have taught you some manners. That's when the minister's pa called. Janet's mom put the phone on speaker, and he immediately started grilling PJ's dad. Which station was he from, and why was he abusing his authority by showing up in a cop car for a personal fight? He warned him never to mix his job with personal issues, and basically told him to get out. Right after that, the principal called PJ's mom directly and ordered her to leave Janet's house immediately. The whole family hurried out. Janet's mom was furious. Their relatives, who live nearby, heard about the chaos and felt embarrassed. She was also upset that her kids had spoken up during the argument, worried it would look bad, even though they were right. Right now, she's leaning on my mom for support, and she's planning to confront the principal again on Monday. Until then, no one knows what PJ's mom is plotting next. For what it's worth, my sister and her friends all say the same thing: they can't stand PJ, because she brags constantly and threatens to get kids expelled by using her mom's influence. So yeah, that's where things stand for now. I'll keep you all posted if anything new unfolds. Entitled Mom, by user magically_hectic. So my 18F mom, 40s, is starting to throw what I can only call tantrums since I turned 18. I made my own bank account without her. I moved all my savings into this new bank account that I have worked my ass off for since I started working at 16, and I use my money to get myself a phone. She threw a tantrum and demanded all the money from my savings in her hand. She didn't get it. Now it's about a month later. I just got myself a Sam's Club membership because I wanted more snacks for me and my fiancé. I come home and they ask where I was and I say Sam's Club, so she starts interrogating me about a membership. When I say I put my fiancé on it instead of her, she starts having a full-blown meltdown, saying that she should be on it, not him, and my grandmother agrees with her. I am so sick of this. Does anyone have any advice? She can't seem to comprehend I'm a legal adult now and she is not entitled to my things. My mom favors my sister, by user OK_2941. I just got into a huge argument with my mom over something that feels so unfair. Every time we visit, my baby, 7 months, and I are crammed into a bedroom that's literally the size of a closet with barely enough room for a bed, her crib, and a changing table. Meanwhile, my sister's old room is twice the size, but she's married, moved to Georgia, barely talks to my mom, and hasn't visited in ages. All I asked was for my mom to clean out some space in my sister's old room so we could turn part of it into a little play area for my baby. Nothing extreme, just putting some stuff in the basement. Instead, my mom completely blew up on me. She told me she would never pick me over my sister, and that she can't just cut her out, which is crazy because I never mentioned any of that. She favors my sister like crazy even though my sister wants nothing to do with her and I'm the one actually visiting and bringing her granddaughter to see her. I told her if she can't even make a little room for us, we're done visiting. I can't keep trying to force a relationship when I feel like my child and I aren't even being considered. Not to mention the house is already so packed with stuff, as hoarding is a real problem there, and there's literally no other space. I just feel hurt and over it. Mind you, my drive is 3 hours long. I should also mention I'm not asking for her to tear down my sister's room and do a complete makeover for my baby. I just wanted a desk and a shelf put in the basement so we can have a tiny spot for her bouncer and maybe like a playpen.